You're listening to Angel Talk with Sue with your host, Sue Broome. Sue, take it away.
That always makes me laugh. Hello, everyone, and thank you for listening. And yes, you are listening live to Angel Talk with Sue every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern on Thrive Talk Network. And last week, if you were anxiously anticipating listening to Marilyn Posick and I, we did have some technical issues. Must have been the tail end of Mercury or the full moon or the winds or who knows what.
Gremlins.
But Marilyn... Huh?
Gremlins.
Yeah, gremlins. It was the radio gremlins. Yes, but Marilyn is rescheduled for next Monday, May 22nd. And then Linda Kemp, who is going to be on next Monday, she has been postponed until further notice. So I know she'll be on. I'm just not sure when. So thank you for your patience. Today, I do have a special guest, which I will talk about in just a second, but I'm really excited. Just a couple things I want to give you a reminder about is Meditate with the Angels. That happens every day on Thrive Talk Network at 7 a.m. Eastern. It's where I pick an integration card, and I channel the meditation, and Mark puts music to it and puts it out for all of you to listen. And there's so much healing that happens with these. So I'd love to hear your comments. That would be awesome. But again, that's 7 a.m. Eastern every day on Thrive Talk Network. And then one other thing, for those of you that are in the Phoenix area, I am doing a book signing tonight with about 17 or 18 other authors from the 365 Days of Angel Prayers. So if you are in the Phoenix area, it is tonight at 6:30 until 8:30 at Storm Wisdom, which is 3375 East Shea Boulevard, Unit A-1 in Phoenix. So I'm really excited. I know a couple of the authors, but like I said, there's going to be 17, 18, 19, something like that. So if you're around, come on, stop by, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So, all right, now to get to my special guest. I have known Miss Julie for several years. We did a lot of training together with Divine Coding, and then we worked together after that on different healing techniques. And Miss Julie Louther, has ventured into animal communication. She's been doing that, I think, much longer than I've known her anyway, but she's really kicked it up a notch the last few years. So I'm excited to have Miss Julie on. And yes, I think she's open to questions. So if anybody has an animal that they would like to communicate with, you can give us a call at 321-445-1488, or you can Skype the B Network. So, Miss Julie, are you with us?
I am, and thank you so much for inviting me on. I'm thrilled to be with you.
I'm excited to have you too, Miss Julie. I'm sure one thing that everyone will notice right away, Julie has the best laugh. Always loved your laugh.
Thank you. I don't know how it's different because I don't hear it, but whatever. Yeah.
So how long have you been doing animal communication? Because like I said, you've been doing it way longer than I've known you.
Yes, professionally since 2008. But I could communicate as a child, and when I would talk about it, my mom would ask me to pray to God to take it away. And so, yeah, that and my psychic abilities. And her saying that made me think she probably had it too, and had learned to shut things down. So it was really the passing of my golden retriever, Alta, in 2002 that really put me back on the path of this being what I should be doing. And, yeah. Would you like me to tell you that story briefly?
Yeah, I think that would be really helpful for people to hear that.
Okay, great. So I had a golden retriever, my first dog as an adult, not living at home, and her name was Alta. She started falling ill when she was about 11 and a half, and when she passed at 12 and a half, I was inconsolable. I had talked to a couple communicators prior to her passing, and anyway, it gave me some information, but she was in kidney failure, so there was really no recovery for her. But I felt like I had lost my best friend. I felt alone. I felt just grief beyond grief.
Mm.
And so a friend of mine had asked me if I heard of Penelope Smith, who at the time she's one of the 3 people who have brought telepathic communication back into people's consciousness. We're all born with it. It's just that we don't exercise that muscle, so it gets dropped from disuse. And anyway, so I go to her webpage, and on the front page of there was a picture of somebody snorkeling in the ocean with a humpback whale. And as an infant, and from when my earliest memories, I knew I was going to swim in the ocean with the great whales, and there it was. And to me, it was a sign that Alta was sending me where I needed to go. And I signed up and haven't turned back since. Alta was and is a very special guide in my life. So, yeah, the peace and the peace and connection I got from being on this path and staying connected, just as it's kind of like you, Sue, with your departed loved ones. They're there, and then you can have that connection. It's life is better.
Absolutely. Well, and it's funny, and I know you know this, but some people might not when you're talking about Penelope. Now, Penelope used to live in Prescott, Arizona, and what's really funny is the reason I ended out in this area, why I even decided to look in Prescott, was because Julie knew Penelope. And she said, well, have you thought about looking at Prescott? It's really kind of a cute little town. So, when I was out here exploring to see what city I'm going to live in, it's like, okay, I'll give Prescott a try.
Yeah, it is a beautiful area, that's for sure.
Yeah, it really is. So now when you are communicating with an animal, like, does someone have to have their animal with them? Is it over the phone? Is it best to work with a picture? How does it work?
Okay, so I do 99% of my work over the phone, and when people schedule an appointment, I do ask them to send a picture. It isn't necessary to have one, but I like having it. I like seeing the being that I'm speaking with in form, and so it's just really fun for me. And then when we're on the call, some animals will leave the room, some will sit in your lap. They'll have a whole range of behaviors that they're doing that may or may not at all correspond with what we're talking about. But most people will comment that, at a certain point in the conversation, their dog will turn around and look at them like, hey, pay attention. Or, the cat will come up and cuddle on their lap, or, they may stretch, or they may, like you can feel that there's a shift happening. And most people, are as in tune with their animals and, are already doing some telepathic stuff. They just don't call it that. And so, they usually can see what's happening as you're in the conversation.
Do people call because they just want to know what their animal is saying, or because of a behavior issue that's going on, or is there kind of like a theme or a specific reason that it's like, oh yeah, it's usually one of these, 3 things that people want to know?
Kind of and kind of not. I would say there are themes. I tend to like to focus, or my special calling, I guess I would say, is I like to work with grief, trauma, PTSD, which can all manifest as behavior issues, sometimes as illness as well. A lot of those are end-of-life grief, like how I felt when Alta passed and I could not get over my grief. I work with people with that. But a lot of the time, I would say 99% of the time, the calls are because there's a concern they have going on. Maybe the dog has quit doing a certain obstacle in agility, or, the cat used to love cuddling in this one spot and now won't even go in that room, or things like that. So it really varies. And when I do get somebody who calls and I had one last week where she said, well, I just wanted to check in and hear what my dog had to say, and everything I said, it was like a breath of fresh air because there was no problems. They had a really beautiful connection. They were, in tune with each other, and what I was able to do for her, she lived in Maryland and I'm in Wisconsin, I was able to validate for her everything she was feeling. So that is a gift, too, for people, that they feel like they know their companion well.
Yeah, that's cool. Mark is telling us that we have a web question. Are you open to web questions, Miss Julie?
Sure.
All righty.
Okay, Mark.
You got it. And this is from Johnny27. Hi, ladies. I have a miniature poodle that is 8 years old now. We got him from the shelter when he was 3.5. He was given up a number of times due to his seizures. He gets panic-driven when he's left alone. I just wanted to know what he's feeling so I can address it and help the guy out. Thank you.
Okay, can you tell me what city and the animal's name?
Okay. Johnny, when you type back the city and the animal's name.
Okay.
And that will be for any calls.
Okay. Good to know.
Great. Yeah.
All right. So she's checking to see if that's going to come in. And generally it comes in pretty quick. So, but one of the things while we're waiting for Johnny27 to answer, do you also give or leave people with some tools that, okay, well, this is what's going on right now, and thank you for the validation from their perspective, but then also are you able to give them tools so they can go, oh, well, this is something that I can do to increase my connection or validate some things along the way by myself?
That's a really great question, Sue. And what I'll say about that is, in terms of most people don't ask for tools to stay in connection, but they will want training or nutrition or things like that. Because here's the thing with most communication sessions, and what I like to say to people is the relationship with your animal is no different than a relationship with another person. And just like us, we have patterns of behavior and we have emotional components. And so there's, the animal's patterns that they've established and their emotional component, and then the human has that as well. So there's 4 different, paths here that can need shifting. And, in terms of having tools, what I'll say is that, when you're trying to say they bark at the mailman every time he comes to the door for a very simple thing is, the dog has a pattern that you need to help them shift. And the emotional component, there needs to be something addressed of why they're feeling the need to alert, or if it's just part of their genetics, like if they're shepherd or, a type of dog that's meant to be a protector, that's part of who they are, as opposed to the environment. And then there's the person's end of it, instead of going, oh, there he goes again barking. It's like, oh, okay, this is our chance to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
So that it's like it's a dance, very much. And so I do offer them things that I have learned over the years. I was very into dog behavior and training for many years, and still continue that because it was important to me. I had some dogs in my life that were great teachers, and I learned from them. But it's really you'd like to just say, here's X formula and this will be the answer, but it's almost never the case.
Yeah, interesting.
For something that's persistent or long-standing.
Mm-hmm. Well, we do have a city and the animal's name from Johnny 27. Okay. He's in Queens, New York, and the dog's name is Theodore.
Okay. Yep, I've got him now. Okay, so the question was about what to do with anxiety when no one's home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and what I'm seeing is he's amping up even before you're leaving. It's like he's already so attuned with the cues of leaving, such as, maybe it's putting on your shoes or the coat or the keys or kind of doing some things towards the door, coming and going. He's already in the worry mode about that. And there's also, just like I was saying, the piece inside of you, Johnny, with, noticing that, and wondering how things are going to go. So one of the things you can do very practically is just, and I'm telling Theodore that you'll do this, is just to sit with him for, feels like 2-3 minutes is what he needs to kind of get regrouped, so to speak, inside, and just tell him how long you're going to be gone, when you'll be back, and, how dogs and how I like to share passage of time with them is, if it's like half a day, show them like, however, where the sun is going to be in the sky when you're back. Knowing the routine, he feels that's where his anxiousness comes in, is feeling very much like, are you ever coming back? And in part of that, I just asked him, because he had several homes, asking him if that's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just hesitating for a second to listen to him. Yes. I'm not getting the total picture on this with him. It feels very much like when he was even a puppy, he was either like the last one to go or the one left alone the most. I'm not even sure where he came from. It almost feels possibly like he was a pet shop dog, or but he's got a very tender and sensitive nature, and so having that impression so early in life, that experience, kind of left him short, so to speak, in his ability to cope. So it's like he doesn't have a strong confidence level there. And so anything you can do to kind of help him, and even something you could do is to practice leaving, saying, here's what 5 minutes feels like, and, go out the door, sit there with your watch on for 5 minutes and come back in, and kind of give him senses of time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm checking with him. I don't know that, something like a homeopathic or something like that would necessarily help him, because it's like he needs to build up trust in himself and trust that, yes, you are coming back, and then just experience, even though you can say you've had him all these years and so he should know, there's still this underlying worry that he has not been able to resolve. And I will say, Johnny, sometimes just you knowing that will shift the energy enough that he can let go of it a little bit. Sometimes change happens just from being listened to and understood.
I asked you if you give people tools, and you actually very much did, because you talked about, okay, so Johnny, with the peace inside, just you feeling peaceful instead of worrying about, okay, well, what is Theodore going to do while I'm gone? And, how long am I going to be gone? Is he going to be upset about that? But going to the peace inside, so there's a tool, sitting with him 2 or 3 minutes and picturing in your mind how long you're going to be gone and when you're coming back. So that's a tool. And just keep reiterating to him that, yes, you're coming back, or testing, I'm going to be gone for 5 minutes, and here's what 5 minutes feels like. So there's all kinds of tools right there, Julie. Are you still there?
Yeah, and Sue, I didn't hear hardly anything of what you said, because it kind of kept making weird echoey sounds. That's okay. I did catch what you said about the going for 5 minutes, and then that's the last I heard.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was basically me saying, yeah, you do give them tools. But with that, it is a good time for a break. So we are going to take a break, and I hope, Johnny 27, I hope you let us know how that helped you and Theodore. And you have been listening live to Angel Talk with Sue on Thrive Talk Network every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be right back after this short break.
Hi, this is Jay Grace, and I'm really excited about a new show with our host, Sue Broome. Her show is Angel Talk with Sue, and it's going to be Mondays, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Her debut is this coming Monday, so join her. Thank you.
In these challenging times, everyone needs a little guidance. The Virtual Psychic Fair is a once-a-month special online event where you can get the expert guidance you seek. Visit us at the Virtual Psychic Fair, www.virtualpsychicfair.com, or call toll-free at 888-626-7386.
Hi, this is Jay Grace, creator and host of Thrive with Jay Grace. This is a live variety talk show program that I'm very excited to produce for you. It's all about entertaining and always encouraging you to live the thriving life that you deserve. Remember, that's Thrive with Jay Grace, Thursdays live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because it is your time to thrive. Hi, this is Jay Grace, and I'm really excited about a new show with our host, Sue Broome. Her show is Angel Talk with Sue, and it's going to be Mondays, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Her debut is this coming Monday, so join her. Thank you. Hi, this is Jay Grace, and I'm really excited about a new show with our host, Sue Broome. Her show is Angel Talk with Sue, and it's going to be Mondays, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Her debut is this coming Monday, so join her. Thank you.
In these challenging times, everyone needs a little guidance. The Virtual Psychic Fair is a once-a-month special online event where you can get the expert guidance you seek. Visit us at the Virtual Psychic Fair, www virtualpsychicfair.com or call toll-free at 888-626-7386. 2. And you're back with Angel Talk with Sue, with your host, Sue Broome. Sue, take it away.
Thank you, Mark. Yes, and we have special guest Julie Louther, who is animal communicator, and she was just answering a question for Johnny 27 about his dog Theodore. And Johnny did say that he's going to try some of those things, and thank you very much, Miss Julie. So,
oh, good.
That's awesome. Yeah. So now I know that you also do communicate with animals that have crossed. And so I didn't even think about this until you were talking about it. And it's like, well, wow, I wonder if you could get a message from the dog that I had when I was a kid.
Sure.
Well, her name was...
Yeah.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Okay. Her name was Schnooks. It was Schnooks, and it was Schnooks, and she was a black lab, and she was actually born in our breezeway because we had the mother also. But
okay, and when was this? Was in Madison?
Yeah, Sun Prairie.
Sun Prairie. Okay. And when did she pass? What year? Do you remember?
I have no idea because when we moved, we actually gave both dogs away, so I have no idea.
Okay. And so when did she stop being part of your family? What year? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think it was in 1974. I'm pretty sure that's the year that we moved.
Okay. So it wasn't just her. It was her and her mom that you had together?
Yeah, we had both of them together, and and each dog went to a different home.
Okay. And would she have been about 5 when that happened? Does that feel right?
It could have been. That very well could have been.
Okay, well, that's what I'm picking up. So, yeah, so had been with you through basically adolescence and stuff. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so what would you like me to ask her?
Well, I guess, one of the things that I remember is she was a big part after my mom passed. And I want to let her know that she really was such a big part and such a big help, because I would sit on the back porch with my dog because she would always listen.
Yeah, she says she feels like she was very much like a nanny. And that was the feeling I was getting from her, was this mothering thing, and that's why I was asking if both her and her mom were there. But it feels like her mother wasn't as directly in your circle.
Correct.
That the mother was not really as much of a thing. And what she says is, I'm asking her how she felt about, when she was given to somebody else. And she's saying that she had mixed feelings. She's saying, I knew my job was about done, meaning, her role in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And there was also a piece of her, it's like what she's showing me is that she could see you getting stronger.
Mm-hmm.
And so then she knew she wasn't as needed, and it feels like when you moved, she, of course, didn't ever see that place, but she's saying the people she went to had a family too, and the relationship was different, though. She's saying they treated me more like a dog, whereas you treated her more like a friend. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I'm trying not to cry. Try not to cry, Julie.
Yeah. So it was like there was a difference in the quality of the connection, and it was a good life. But it wasn't
Right.
there wasn't this close friendship that she felt with you.
And it's funny because I don't remember when we gave the dogs away. My brother does. He goes, don't you remember, because Cinder was her mother, and don't you remember Cinder ran home a couple different times? And it's like, nope, I have no recollection of that at all. None. But the most comforting part about all of this is that her role was done. Because then it was like, oh, okay, to me, that makes sense. That, okay, yes, our time together was done, and she moved on.
Yes, it was very, and so it was in a way bittersweet, but she also knew that was part of her role. Like she stayed as part of the family.
Mm-hmm.
Because all the other puppies, I would guess, were sold or given away or whatever, right?
Yeah, we because she was in the first batch, and then even Schnucks had a batch of puppies, and we gave all those away, and then Cinder, she ran away. She ran away and came back pregnant, and we knew it was some little mutt because our dogs were purebred. And so when we had them bred, we actually had the bred to another purebred. And Cinder, when she got pregnant, it was some little mutt that kept coming around. It was funny. So we have another
those were the days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay, Mark, we're ready. We have another web question.
You got it. And this is from Dahlia B. Hi, Sue. I had a dog named Isis. She was half Akita, half Chow. We had her put to sleep due to pain from arthritis all over her body. It truly broke my heart. We had her for 14 years. Is she upset with me? We lived in West Islip, New York at the time.
In West, say that.
West what, New York?
West Islip.
Islip.
Okay.
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 No. Okay. So here I start out by saying no. And it was Dahlia, right?
Yes.
That's her name, and the dog's name is Isis. Yep.
Isis, yes. No, Dahlia, she is not upset at all. In fact, Isis, true to her name, you must have had some knowing inside of yourself when you named her as very regal, very strong, queenly presence. And what she's saying is that she could feel this arthritis and this pain. She's showing me who she was in her glory years, and so beautiful and proud and strong and vitality. And as the arthritis progressed, what she's showing me is that her bones were becoming more brittle, and like I can see where some of the calcification and the knots, and so then you lose flexibility, and the muscles start to atrophy because you can't move like you want. And so she's showing me that she had this beautiful spirit that was now in a body that was no longer serving her. And she says that as much as it pained her to say goodbye to you in form, she stays with you as a presence for whenever you want her to communicate with her, to just drop back into your heart and feel her, and she is there. She says that it was a gift to have these 14 years together, and it's like she could see that she knew in her heart, Isis did, that there was never any coming back from this place. And so it would have just meant sort of a lingering suffering. And instead you gave her the passage. It feels that it was a very blessed and holy moment for the two of you to go through. It feels very much like she knew you were there. She knew you had her best interest at heart. And she says, I know this was so difficult. It was difficult to say goodbye, but she knew once you were able to say goodbye that it was okay.
That's beautiful. And I also got a resounding no that she was not upset. In fact, I almost feel like it was really peaceful, actually.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, Dahlia B,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Dahlia B, I just wanted to, she said thank you, and she said, I guess the dog Isis, she ate Mario's Italian Isis when she was a puppy. That's how she got her name. But everything else you said about her is true.
That's funny.
That's really great. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, now, one of the other things that I can tell that this happens and this kind of comes through is just the healing. I mean, you're not calling it healing, and that's, just like any other communication with somebody that's a person that's deceased, there's a lot of healing that happens. But there's also, if the dog is still here, if the dog is on the other side, it doesn't matter. I can feel that the healing work is happening. And is that something that people, do they ask about it, or do you let them know that this is happening, or is it, do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm asking without me being able to verbiage it?
Yes. And, it really, so I guess the best way I'm going to put it is I do tell people that I do healing work, and if I feel like part of the session needs to be offering that, I specifically ask for permission, and then we work on that. But sometimes, again, it's this, how I really see it is it's like in the partnership and the wanting to have clarity and understanding and, the best relationship possible with somebody from another species, that once you get to that place where you get them, it is even the same as with humans. Then there's a shift and things can open up and flow better. And so that is healing, in my opinion. And so that's what I love about it is it's like sometimes we get so caught up in, oh, this is acting like dominance, or, oh, this is all fear-based this, or all, that may be a layer of it, but it's really opening yourself up to the possibility of the wholeness of what's happening that allows that healing to come in.
I like that. Open to the wholeness. That's really awesome, because the love is there, but it feels like when there's an issue going on, the partnership isn't able to blossom fully because of whatever it is that's going on. And so you come in, and with either the information that you're getting from their animal, or the information that they, that maybe neither one of them is able to say, it opens the connection so the flow to the full partnership can continue.
Correct. Yes, absolutely. And that is where, I think that's where the magic is, and it's really true, with human interactions. We all, that's what the big thing that I feel with other species is they make us feel a little more safe because they give, unconditionally. There's not a lot of, depending on the animal you get, there's usually not a lot of game playing, or they just present themselves as they are, as opposed to humans. We are so conditioned to be closed, or to you don't share too much, or and so we always come in with these filters and these masks we put on, so to speak. Whereas with our animals, we usually get where they are in the moment, and that's why they feel safe to us at first. But they are no different than us in the sense that if they've had an early wounding, like Theodore, feeling this, like his nature as a pup didn't get what it needed. It's like that. Then there's a fear of vulnerability, and will anybody listen to me? And sometimes they don't even know what it is till they start talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in a place, the space that I create in the communication session is where, it's creating that safe place where it's okay to say whatever is on your heart or in your emotions.
That's awesome. It's like creating a safe space. And then that's something, that really is another tool, because creating a safe space where you can go with your animal and just sit and really call in the angels and call in love and circle the two of you with nothing but love, and just express, just send the feelings of love to your animal. That seems like that would help in many situations.
Yes. And the other piece I want to remind people of is, your companion, if they're having a problem, it's the only way they know how to communicate it, that you're going to get it. And so, it may seem frustrating, but from their perspective, they're doing what they know best to communicate to you that, hey, a dog who gets anxious on the walk and is on high alert, and you're like, there's nothing. Well, there is something for them.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that you don't then get mad at them, because now they've lost their safe place with you. Right. And then it's even worse. And so it's counterintuitive. I've been guilty of it myself. Stop it on this walk, or stop acting like that. Well, then I've taken away the connection of love and, I've got your back, basically. And so sometimes it just is a matter of breathing through things if you have behavior issues or whatever it is that you're struggling with your companion, peeing outside the litter box if it's a cat or, whatever. The behavior is that's their only way of getting something across to you, or one of the best ways they feel at the time.
Yeah.
And so at times needing to take that breath and saying, okay, let me feel in, let me think about it, and, acknowledge that they're struggling.
Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. And I have one more thing after we come back from this break. So you are listening live to Angel Talk with Sue every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern on Angel Talk with Sue. And we will be right back with Julie Louther and animal communication after this short break.
Hi, this is Jay Grace, and I'm really excited about a new show with our host, Sue Broome. Her show is Angel Talk with Sue, and it's going to be Mondays, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Her debut is this coming Monday, so join her. Thank you.
In these challenging times, everyone needs a little guidance. The Virtual Psychic Fair is a once-a-month special online event where you can get the expert guidance you seek. Visit us at the Virtual Psychic Fair, www.virtualpsychicfair.com, or call toll-free at 888-626-7386.
Hi, this is Jay Grace, creator and host of Thrive with Jay Grace. This is a live variety talk show program that I'm very excited to produce for you. It's all about entertaining and always encouraging you to live the thriving life that you deserve. Remember, that's Thrive with Jay Grace, Thursdays live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because it is your time to thrive.
And you're back with Angel Talk with Sue, with your host, Sue Broome. Sue, take it away.
Thank you, Mark. And yes, you have been listening to Angel Talk with Sue, and my special guest today is Julie Louther, an animal communicator. So, Julie, before we go on, there's one thing I want to make sure that people get this. How can people get a hold of you if they want to have a session with you, and a healing session or a communication session with them and their pet?
Yes, so I have a website. It's www.julieannmarie, JuliEannMarie.com, and my phone number is 608-209-3348. And you can book online. I have booked in scheduling software there. You can book either a healing session or a mediumship session or animal communication through there.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
And my email is julie@julieannmarie.com. So same thing.
Okay, perfect. Julie@julieannmarie.com. Now, one of the things that I wanted to reiterate, because you were talking about the feeling of safety, that sometimes when an animal acts out, it's the only way that they know how to do and how to get your attention that something isn't right in their world. And even if you're walking them and they're pulling on the chain and you're trying to get them to, behave, is to really breathe with them and let them know that they're in a safe place with you. Did I hear that correct?
Yes. And one of the things that years ago I learned, because I had two reactive dogs, so one lived 13 years and one lived 10 years. So I have a lot of real-life experience with this. And one of the things that I was taught in the early days is when they start acting out like that, again, it's, I talked about how there's an emotional component and a pattern, a physical response that their body is conditioned to do. So sometimes they go into that mode before they're even thinking about it. And so they're in this high-stressed, panic state. And one of the things I learned early on was, it's from T-Touch, Linda Tellington-Jones. It's to, calm yourself, and then work to calm them. And one of the things you can do is breathing. And while you're breathing, to take your hands and do slow, steady strokes from like the back of their ears down their bodies to their feet, and go down each leg. And it's trying to help them ground and also dissipate that energy, because one of the things that happens a lot is when you have this, high reactivity out on a walk, is the dog never gets a chance to dispel all this tension they've built up. And this is one way that you can help them. Them shaking off is another way that they learn to shake off that tension. So it's like helping them dissipate it. If you think about yourself as a person, if something gives you anxiety, maybe you're afraid of spiders and you see one, and you know how that like just puts everything on fight or flight. If they never get a chance to let that go, then the whole walk is high alert for them. And then, naturally you feel it too, and then you start to, amp up. So it's really just taking that minute, and, if something feels too like, oh, there's a dog coming and there's something else happening, there's nothing wrong with stopping and turning around and, making a fun thing about going a different way. It's like you want to build that trust with your dog that you have their back no matter what, and that, you are going to do your best to keep everything as safe and calm for them as possible. And especially for a dog who has that tendency, it's like you need to really, give it your best every single time. To keep them building that strength with you.
Yeah, and I can see, you're talking about just standing there and just rubbing your hand from their ear down their leg, and I can see that, and I can feel the grounding that happens. And to me, it's also like, wow, that's probably a good thing for some people to do, for some people to stand and and just run their hands like down from the top of their hips all the way down and help dissipate and help them ground, because it feels like there's just, not only are you wiping the energy off, but it feels like you're helping the energy flow down into Mother Earth to help ground them.
Exactly. Yep, exactly. And of course, you're not going to do that if there's another dog, walking up, lunging at you and whatever. You want to do it in a place where there actually is no imminent worry for the dog or for you, but to just help them move through it. And to show the confidence within you, holding your own core steady, your own sense of balance and inner abilities.
Well, and if you were, so say that your dog has issues with other dogs, and you're walking down the street and you see another dog, and you very calmly stop and just turn. So you're facing the other way, but you're not turning around and walking the other way, but you're facing the other way and doing the breathing and making sure that you're calm and you're creating this safe space of love, and then doing that with the dog. Is that something that would help, or is it best to just, okay, yeah, let's just turn around and head in a different direction?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and what I would say is, yes, you could if they're on the other side of the street. It's, with dogs, it's a space thing. And if it's too close to their space where they feel safe, if they're over the threshold, they're beyond learning. They're in the I'm out of here zone. And so you want to keep them in that, what we call the think and learn zone, where they're in the place where, this is you're not expecting them to stay in a threatening situation from their viewpoint. And so, you have to kind of read your animal's body language. If they're still being tense and wary and watchful, then it's probably best to just, walk away. And the walking itself will help dissipate some of that energy. And then when, you see them relax a little bit, then you can, do the grounding body touch work. But it's really becoming really good at reading when your dog is still in that think and learn zone.
Yeah, that makes sense. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, one more time, Julie, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you if they want to have a session with you.
Oh, sure. My website is www.julieannemarie.com. You can also email me, julie@julieannemarie.com, or call 608-209-3348. And then lastly, I do have booked-in software. If you go to directory.bookedin.com and put in Julie Ann Marie with dashes between the words, you get to directly to the booking page.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Julie. This has been wonderful to have you on and to hear about the animal communication, the healing that happens, and thank you for the message from Schnucks. That really, I really appreciate that.
You are welcome, and thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. And we're going to do a short meditation. So, yes, I'm taking a few deep breaths and I'm getting myself grounded because I feel like I'm not grounded. But so take a couple of deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And again, in and out. And as you're getting comfortable, as we always do, bring in the love and light of the divine in through your crown chakra at the very top of your head, coming down through your neck and shoulders, connecting and anchoring at your heart, moving on down through our solar plexus, hips, legs, down into Mother Earth. So the love of the divine is coming from head to toe, strengthening the connection that's always there. And then bringing the love of Mother Earth up through your feet chakras, up through your legs, up through your hips, up through your solar plexus, connecting and anchoring at your heart space, and then moving on up and out through the crown. So you have this loving energy flowing up and down through your bodies. And as we're in this space, call in your pet, your animal. If you don't have one, if you want to call in maybe a bird that's sitting outside, call in their energy and expand this loving energy from the divine, from yourself, from Mother Earth. Expand it. And then call in the energy of your pet, or physically call in your pet if you can. And just be in this loving environment, expressing to them through pictures in your mind how much you love them, how much you love spending time with them, the joy that they've brought to your life, to your family. And as you're in this space and you're expressing your love for them, feel their loving energy coming back to you. You might even get a word or a phrase as to why they're in your life or something they'd like you to know. And just allow that information to come in. You can write it down, or you'll just remember it in your heart. Just know that this information is coming from them. And this is something you can do anytime you want. In this beautiful space, you can feel the peace and joy washing over you, as well as your pet, as well as your animal companion. So remember this feeling. Remember any messages that you may have gotten. And slowly start coming all the way back to your body. Thank your animal for any message. Thank them for the love. Thank yourself. Come back more and more into your body. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Wiggle your hands and toes, coming all the way back into your bodies. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you for listening to Angel Talk with Sue, live Mondays on Thrive Talk Network at 1 p.m. Eastern. Every Monday, listen to Meditate with the Angels every day on Thrive Talk Network at 7 a.m. Eastern. If you want to get a hold of Julie, her website is julieannemarie.com. And if you want to get a hold of me, my website is Sue Broome. And I do angel readings, healing sessions, and so much more. Angel blessings to you. Thank you, everyone.